to fix most commercial HVAC problems on the spot. When your Roscoe Brown technician arrives, they'll explain all your options way before starting repairs. That way you can make an informed decision before work begins. At Roscoe Brown, we're not happy until you're happy.
Roscoe Brown.
RoscoeBrown.com. All That's News, your afternoon local news, traffic, and weather update with Matt Lane. Weekday afternoons, 4:40 until all sports talk on News Radio WGNS. Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Our friends at MTE have actually closed their downtown office on North Walnut Street, and they've relocated their staff from there to their new central office on New Salem Highway. Beautiful facility out there, lots of room and drive-through and all, so you can get assistance or make payments there, or check out their St. Andrews Drive location. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. Today, we're talking about the Beasley Animal Clinic and Foundation. Executive Director Dawn Roberts is here, and lots of good things to talk about. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Brian?
Doing good. Ready for, I know it's fall, but ready for fall weather.
I know. It's been the weather. You couldn't ask for better weather like recently. The last week has been really nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The mornings have been kind of crisp, even though the afternoons have been, so we've had a little of both.
Right.
It seems, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that our dogs kind of like going out in the mornings. They seem to have an extra bit of energy when they have that cooler air.
Oh, that happens. Yeah, it does. Mine too. So they like they just feel a little bit more perkier.
I guess. I don't know. They have the zoomies.
Yeah.
I've found out what the zoomies are, and boy, they do have the zoomies when they go out in the mornings.
Oh, that is cute. That is cute.
So lots of things to talk about. We're going to talk about being a responsible pet owner today, I think. And you've got some events coming up, though, first. And I want to make sure we give plenty of time to that. And one is tomorrow?
Yeah, one is tomorrow night at Bell Meadows Farm. It's our Barks and Bourbon. It's our third annual event. We're just grateful for all the distilleries that are, have, just love this event and continue to come out. Short Mountain's coming back, Uncle Nearest, Leatherwood Distillery from from Pleasant View, Old Glory from Clarksville's coming down, Cat's Eye, Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery. So it's going to be a fun evening.
Yeah.
So, and we couldn't do it without our sponsors, and Redstone Credit Union provided our posters, and Brian Nail gave us our event glasses that each attendee will receive. So
are tickets still available? Can people still come?
There's very few tickets still left available. Yes.
All right.
So, yeah.
So if there are a few people out there, they probably need to get that done today to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
Kind of walk us through what Barks and Bourbon is. How does that go? I think a lot of people, and I probably have asked you this before, but we can mention again, I think a lot of people maybe don't go to events because they don't know how it goes and what to wear, and it's going to take up 2 hours or 3 or just 1 or come as you go. And so I always like to let folks kind of describe what it is, especially when we talk about it for next year.
Yeah, so it's a really fun, casual evening. The venue is gorgeous. It's a farm. And then it's just the distillers just come and you do bourbon tastings, get to talk to them about their different brands and find out more about them. And then there's just, there's food and small bites that people can enjoy. And then Prohibition is coming out with their cigars. And so there's music, of course, a silent auction that helps raise, funds for our programs. But it really, starts at 6 till about 8:30, something like that.
Okay.
So it's a really fun evening.
This is an annual event for you guys.
Yes, usually late fall, late September. So if people can kind of keep an eye out for it for next year. Yes.
And also, it is called Barks and Bourbon. Will there be a few barks there, maybe?
Yes. Dogs are welcome. What is better than bourbon and pups? So, yeah. So
it's kind of hard for you to have an event that doesn't involve animals, isn't
right.
it?
Yes.
So that's good. So that is, again, tomorrow night. Just a very few tickets available. Can they find out more on your website about that?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll put a link to that on the podcast section here as well. So also, what's coming up in November you want to tell us about?
So this is kind of just a new event for us. I have a lot of people that read so many books every year. I'm not a reader. So it's just, it's great that people do that. So we are going to have like a book sale. And people can donate their books. They can come to the sale, and it's going to benefit a kind of a newly established fund that we've created at the foundation in memory of Amanda Oliver, who was our old executive director, who passed away suddenly 2 years ago. So it's going to benefit the fund, which we made in her honor, which is going to help pet owners that need assistance with getting urgent, non-emergency care for conditions that we don't treat at our clinic, that they can go to a full service vet. As long as they can get like a treatment estimate, whatever, they can send it to us, send an application, and through our approval process, of course we're probably going to have more applications than we have funding for, but we'll do our best to try to provide some financial assistance to bridge the gap so people can get access to vet care.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So,
yeah.
I mean,
that was one of the last projects that Amanda really was working on before, she passed away. So this was something that we wanted to do in her memory.
Oh, that's great. So this helps to raise funds. The Beasley Pages with Purpose?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So more information on the fund and everything like that. They do have to go to a full service vet to get the treatment estimate and things like that, because these are stuff that we do not treat at our clinic. So
now, is it treatment for
like heartworm disease,
okay.
dentistry, maybe some skin issues, ear issues? Is something that with a treatment, it's got a good prognosis. Chronic issues is a much more long-term thing. So this is kind of more something that needs to be addressed urgent, but not emergency.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And something that you mentioned teeth, and so you think about dogs and teeth, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, the little guys, their teeth get bad quickly. So yeah.
And so that is kind of a bridging the gap, and so you can actually get that treatment even if you can't afford it or can only afford part of it, kind of thing like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of a way that, we see people, surrendering their animals if they can't get vet care. We want to prevent suffering of the animal, and we certainly don't want somebody to have to face the fact of having to do economic euthanasia just because they can't get some care for their pet.
Yeah. Well, that is great. So that's going to be on Saturday, November 11th, 9 to 1. And I guess the call to action now is if you're doing a donate books, I guess would be right now. Folks can
just drop them off at our facility.
Do some cleaning.
Yeah.
Some fall cleaning. So very good. And that is wonderful. Oliver Pet Assistance Fund. I know Amanda would be honored that happened.
Yes, yes.
Well, that kind of takes us to our next subject, honestly, about being a responsible pet owner. I mean, it's not cheap sometimes,
right.
And so we have to be prepared for that.
And I mean, things the way they are, everything is increasing, and vet care is increasing along with everything else, dog and cat food. We are having a dog and cat food distribution tomorrow.
Oh, good.
At our location, so from 9 to 3:30. And so, if you're just needing a little bit of help with feeding your cat or dog, please come by. So we're finding that people will forego their own meals to make sure their pets eat. So we wanted to make sure that everyone has what they need.
And so do you just drop by if you need that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Easy enough. And you're always taking pet food donations
Absolutely,
too.
Yes. That's kind of what keeps our community outreach going, because we do partner with probably 6 to 10 other partnership organizations around the county that we provide dog and cat food to. So I don't have the number offhand, but I think we've distributed maybe 5,000 pounds of food already.
Oh, wow.
So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So if you have dog and cat food, just make sure that it's unopened.
Unopened and unexpired.
Unexpired.
Yes.
Yep. Very good. So several ways that you can help the Beasley Animal Foundation, and the fundraisers obviously help keep things going at the clinic.
Correct.
Too.
Yes.
We have Dawn Roberts joining us today. So responsible pet ownership. So let's, I guess, talk a little bit about that today.
So that's more than, I mean, I think we focus on a lot of the care and, keeping pets happy and healthy. But, being a responsible pet owner, you also have to understand the laws and ordinances that are, statewide as well as local. So there was one that was just passed in July, kind of defining what adequate shelter is for outside dogs.
Oh, okay.
Before it was kind of very vague, and so it kind of was just, everyone just, it was hard to really enforce because everyone could have just, up to interpretation of what's adequate. So this law took effect in July 1st of this year. And so, dog owners that keep their pets outside really need to be aware of this, that, they have to have access to shelter, shade, water, and food, and a clean environment. It must be constructed with sound and substantial material that is sufficient for protecting the dog from inclement weather. So, to my understanding, that it's not like just under a deck or on a porch or anything. It's got to have a roof and be enclosed on all sides with an entrance that is big enough for the size of the dog to get in safely and move around.
Okay.
Has to be well ventilated to kind of just provide relief. They need to be able to lie, in a normal manner and, keep themselves, keep it sanitary. So March to October, the structure needs to be properly shaded to help keep it cooler. And then in November to February, it just must be, you must have some sort of bedding material in there to help keep them a little bit warm.
Yeah.
So this is quite much more clearly defined than what's been in the past. So, if you are concerned about, what exactly, if you're not sure of your shelter, just reach out to your animal control or your law enforcement and just kind of get clarification for that. But basically, it's just to provide a secure shelter that keeps them warm, dry, cool, and when bad weather comes, and just keeps them safe.
And also, if you have questions about that, if you just do a Google search for updated adequate shelter requirements in Tennessee,
Right,
that's gonna show you.
Right. Yeah.
And all of this is to try to make a dent in some of the really honestly cruel living conditions for pets
Right.
that have been found, I guess,
Yes.
recently.
Yeah. I mean, it's. If a dog is there's going to be dogs that have to live outside for one reason or another, but this is just to kind of make sure that they're as comfortable as possible. They have a clean environment, they stay warm, they stay cool, and they can get out of the inclement weather. So not out of the snow and rain and blaring heat and things like that. So,
a lot of people have, farm animals, blue healers on the farm to
Right.
help, with
Yeah.
that, or if they're a hunter, things like
Yeah.
that. So I'm sure that but those guys usually are not the problem.
Right. Yeah. So there's exceptions. It's your military, your police dogs that are working in search and rescue. You've got your people that are actively training them for hunting. Either trials and other sports competitions, and then if you have your service and assistance work. So there are exceptions, and so it's just best to kind of. But I'm finding that a lot of people really didn't realize that this took place, and so it's just kind of one of our programs is education. So just making sure that everyone is in compliance, so they don't get a knock on their door by neighbor complaining or something like that.
Sure. I mean, it is good to know. That's a lot of times we hear about a few of the maybe hot button issues when those laws are passed by the legislature, and not that this one isn't, but it's one that kind of flew under the radar.
Right. Yeah. So. And
we're specifically talking about dogs, or is it dogs and cats?
Well, it's more, it's pretty much, this law is for dogs. Cats, cats, you need to.
Cats are unique.
Yeah. Cats, if you have a feral colony or you have an outside cat, just make sure that there's a shelter they can get in and out of the weather. And cats are different. Cats are, but a lot of dogs are chained. So, cats can go find a shelter, because they're free roaming usually if you have a outside cat, but dogs are sometimes chained. So you just need to make sure that shelter is reachable and things like that for a chained dog or something like that. So.
Yeah. Obviously you can find some really deplorable conditions that animals can be kept in. And so hopefully this helps to add some teeth to that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that not only are the requirements for adequate shelter new with this law, it's something that's more enforceable maybe.
Right. I mean, I think it gives a little bit more, power behind your animal control or law enforcement. And there's really good meaning, loving pet owners that, they just, they might think that under a deck was good and it might keep them dry, but they just need to make sure that it falls within these requirements.
Sure. And we're talking about the picture that's on this piece of paper, shows a doghouse with an entrance. They can get in, but the door is offset, and I've learned over the years that not having the entryway to the doghouse right in the center, move it to one side. That way there is a place where they can keep the wind off of them on four sides.
Away from the draft. Yeah.
Just a few little things to kind of think about there. And because, wintertime is coming, and that can be a tough time.
Yes, it gets chilly.
Well, Dawn, I appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. That's
Thank
good
you.
information. Yeah. Dawn Roberts with the Beasley Animal Foundation and Clinic joining us here on Rutherford Issues today. And that's going to do it for our show. Hope you have a wonderful day, everybody.